5?
I believe so, yeah.
So it's sampling methods?
Yep.
Okay. Let's get that question for you, Chana. Are you in my first or second class?
I'm in your second one, 64.
Good. Okay. And is it sampling introduction or sampling methods? Which one did that come from?
Sampling methods.
Okay, so I should be able to see your answers right now. The right answer's next to yours. So, Chana. Why can I never find your name when I want to? What's your last name, Chana?
Alonso Miguel.
There you are. You're always up the top. Why can I never find you? You're the easiest one in the set to find. Okay, so it looks like the only question is the last one. So, okay. So we got this question. And let's see what is it. Okay. Oh, I can see the answers here, but yeah. What we have here is a list of which 2 of the 7 possible sources of bias in the survey are illustrated by this example.
Mm-hmm.
It is, yeah, how do you best phrase this? It's not that most of those choices are not wrong. I think what they're after is the 2 most important ones. So it's not that the others are themselves not true, it's just that some other things are more true, okay? So let's get that out the way first. So let's see the story. In a particularly difficult to measure information on behavior that is sensitive, risky, or illegal. Yeah, social scientists come into this problem all the time. If you're trying to get data on drug use, I mean, illegal drug use, it's very difficult to get honest data for all sorts of reasons. And they're looking into, this is a story that gives you an idea of the problems that they encounter because of that.
Okay.
So in an article in the Science, Turner et al., so it's real data, describes the use of audio computer assisted self-interviews. So in other words, I think the idea behind this is that if a person asks you something that's very personal, sensitive, whatever you want to call it, it's a little bit easier to do it if you're not doing it to another person. In other words, you're not answering that person's questions, but you're just answering a picture or a written question on the screen, right? That separation can help get better data. So that's exactly what they were doing here. So they were testing to see if this would work. So the respondents were randomly assigned to answer a survey using traditional paper form or just using a laptop computer. So they've taken it one stage further back and said, look, if it's on a piece of paper and you physically have to write it down, is that different than if you're a computer and you just hit A, that kind of thing. Now, the questionnaire, the paper one, was filled out and sealed in an envelope, and then it was given to the person, the surveyor, but was accompanied by an identifying code number. So you would see on the envelope that your answers were number 422, and that may not be good. The computer method also listed a question through headphones and then recorded the answers on a laptop computer. The authors believed that this method would allow respondents to feel that they were more private, as we talked about. In particular, those who could not read could also take part because it was auditory. No, I guess that's true for some people. Results indicated that the additional perception of privacy increased the reporting incidence of certain behaviours while decreasing the reporting of others. The behaviours with increased reported incidence from the audio computer version tend to be less socially acceptable ones. In other words, ones that people would have trouble being honest about, I would assume. While those of higher reported incidence for the paper tended to be more socially acceptable. So, okay. Now, what they're asking us here is, which 2 of the 7 sources of bias are you seeing here? The first one is the desire of respondents to please. This whole problem arises because people don't like to tell other people
Mhm.
that they're doing bad things. It's a kind of human desire, right? We like to please people. We don't like to make people think that we're bad. And that's a very strong reason for bias in this story. And the second choice is confidentiality and anonymity concerns. In other words, you get, this story is telling you that people are more honest if they believe that there's some kind of privacy involved, right? It's confidential. So that experiment was testing the fact that people like desire to please, and that they also like they have anonymous. I can't even say that word. They like things to be anonymous. That word.
Yeah.
So that was the 2 answers. Now, you could go through the ones that you gave and said deliberate bias in the questions. That's probably not true. We'll assume that the questions they asked were pretty neutral, even although they were quite sensitive. So a pretty neutral example of that would be, do you frequently take illegal drugs? That's a very, that's a very difficult question to get the truth out of, right?
Yeah.
The question is not biased, right? A biased question would be one where you phrase it in such a way that you are trying to make people answer it in a particular way. So you might say things like, I'm trying to think for illegal drugs. Do you regularly take harmful illegal drugs? I'm just putting the word harmful in because what I'm trying to say here is, like, I'm trying to make you think, no, they're not good or harmful, I don't take them, right? I'm trying to make you think that way. And the order of the questions is, I would also say, wasn't a good choice, because it really doesn't matter if you say, have you taken illegal drugs? Have you stolen anything to pay for your drug habit? Have you ever been arrested by the police? You can put those 3 questions in any order you like, and I don't think it really changes the problem, which is, how do you get honest answers?
Yeah.
So does that help?
No, yeah, that does help. Yeah.